This month I got a lot of work done on my project, sometimes in the lab, sometimes I brought it home. I'm not going to explain these clips, but you're welcome to theorize. And then one day I was invited up to Dublin to be present at a Fulbright ceremony. The Irish Fulbright Commission was awarding Dr. Fauci, yeah, the COVID doctor, with an award. And so I went, and it was very cool to hear him speak, and he mingled afterwards, so I got to meet him. And it was really cool to like be in the same room as someone who was just such a big factor during COVID, but who, was just always on the television screen and didn't seem like much more than a compilation of pixels.
I think the first one that did was my family, my parents, who, my father, as was mentioned, was a pharmacist. But that was back in the 1940s and 50s when the pharmacists were not the mega stores that we have right now. The pharmacist was a local store that served as almost a surrogate physician for the neighborhood, a psychiatrist for people who are having problems.
With different personalities. What principles did you use in engaging the president? Because you didn't always have the most pleasant stories to tell.
No. Well, you have to make a decision that you're going to always speak the truth and not be afraid of giving advice and recommendations based on data, based on evidence. You know, very quickly, a person who was a close friend of mine gave me advice, if you want to call it that. I would have hoped that I would have come to that conclusion on my own anyway. But the first time I went to see Ronald Reagan, who was the first president that I had to deliver advice, as it were, to, he told me, whenever you go into the White House, tell yourself that may be the last time that you're going to go into that place. Because you may have to deliver a message that would be the kind of message that would not allow you to be asked back. When you go into the White House, it's a very heavy feeling. And one of the feelings you say, gee, boy, it would be really nice to get asked back to this place. But if you get sucked into that feeling, you may wind up telling a president something you think they want to hear as opposed to something that's the actual truth. And I started off with Reagan doing that, and I've done that ever since. And that's when you get asked back, because people respect you.
I'm heading to the Butter Museum. Somebody at work said that it was like the best thing to do in Cork. And I've never been to a butter museum, so we're gonna see what Big Butter has to say.
If you were a group of school children, I would say to you, what animal does butter come from? And you'd say, fantastic, great start. Now supposing my cow was here, let's transport ourselves back. And I won't be able to talk and churn now at the same time, so I'm going to ask someone to come up and volunteer to do the churning for me. Who wants to do working it a little bit as well? I'm going to start collecting the butter, and I'm kind of getting it all together. And now I'm going to rinse this out again. This is where it gets a bit messy. Making sure that we're trying to reduce the volume of water.
We had one really nice weekend this month, so I went with a few people from work to the Blackrock Castle Observatory. It was definitely more castle than observatory, but there was a little light show inside, so like that was cool. But the castle itself was gorgeous and old and historical, so it was fun. It was a good Sunday. So today was my last day of Spanish class. I don't know that I've talked about this in vlogs very much, but I had signed up for an evening Spanish class that met every Wednesday evening, like 7 to 9. And it's kind of silly, like, why would you go to Ireland and then take a Spanish class? Like, I should have been taking an Irish class. But I knew that learning Irish would be very, very difficult, and if I did it for a grand total of 2 hours a week, there's no way that that would take. And I have been looking for ways to practice my Spanish, what little I remember, and just get better at it. And I was like, well, instead of waiting until I'm out of Ireland, like there's no point in waiting, I might as well do it now. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, even though most Wednesdays I was some sort of sick. It was still really nice to go. It was nice to chat to people and get to know people and get better at Spanish. And it was also on the UCC campus, like actually in a classroom. So it was kind of cool. I was like, haha, I have a UCC student ID and I'm taking a class here. I'm practically a student. But I am like sad it's over, but I'm also kind of glad that I'll have my Wednesday evenings back, because Wednesday evenings are the only evenings that operas and ballets are shown at the opera ballet house in town. And so I'm hoping to go to one of those before I leave. So yeah, that's kind of it.